Hello and welcome to another version of an interview with Neville Gaunt. And today I'm delighted to have a good friend of mine, Mr. Saad Amanullah Khan. Saad, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting.
My pleasure. And today we're going to be focused on one thing. And this is it. Everything you should have learned at school but didn't. Saad has got a fantastic chapter in the book, but I'm going to ask him about his chapter. What I want is Saad's got a tremendous amount of experience around the world, and particularly in Pakistan. And I want him to say why he's contributed a chapter to this really important book. So Saad, over to you. What made you write the chapter?
Okay. When Neville wrote to me about this concept that he wanted us to, write something from our past experience. I've been working with Neville for a while. I mean, on his whole concept of mind fit map and, can-do attitude. And I think he was spot on. He was spot on, the issues that we are facing with the youth of today. And it's unfortunate that our youth of today is not getting the right message. And when he talked about this, what was not taught to you in school, this was exactly what we've been trying to, address through our different initiatives on can-do attitude. We try to go to Coke and Pepsi and try to see if it can make it really viral, that people understand that it can just fix their can-do attitude. If they become more can-do, and you can't just become can-do attitude, to be very fair. You have to have some tools to do that. You need to be able to find success in doing that as well. And I think this is a book that kind of encapsulates all of that. I mean, when he shared the names of different authors that are in the book, I was like, wow, okay, this is great. And I think you would probably have something very, very valuable. And I think never liked the fact that when I call it like, golden nuggets, in my first discussion on this one, these are actually golden nuggets. And my chapter is actually something that I really faced in real life. I literally was heading Gillette. I was facing this conundrum between a vision and a strategy, and I just felt that why don't I share that? So I think, it was just I was honored to be part of this book, and I think I hope we can get more youth to read the book, and and hopefully improve their chances of success and even their personal lives.
Exactly. We're talking about their personal lives going forward. And you and I are of a similar age. We're going to share it. I'm 63, you're pretty close. So
I'm 61, yeah.
Well, there you go. So we've been through, you're a young boy, but we've been through very similar schooling systems, although we're from different parts of the world. And one thing I particularly liked in your chapter was about volunteer. You mentioned volunteer for everything. I'm in that arena. I came through the Scouts as well, and I literally volunteered because I knew that I'd get special treatment actually by volunteering, being the first guinea pig, if you like. But you said exactly the same, and maybe we can just get after that golden nugget, if you like, as to why volunteering was so important to you. What was that kickoff moment where you saw volunteering was absolutely important?
You say, Saad, you're very successful and you're blah, blah, blah. People meet me right now. Just for information, I'm no more in the corporate sector, but I'm chairman of 3 organizations. One is public interest, and the other is I'm KARACHI, and the other is innovation. And I think what made me into what I am is walking out of my comfort zone. I find that, people are just too afraid to walk out of their comfort zone. And, I'll just quote something my father used to say, because he was an inspiration. He's the one who drove me to where I am. He would tell me, like, when I would do something, he said, when you were little, you didn't want to leave your milk. We wanted to give you some food. You walked out of your comfort zone. You tried something else. Look how good it is. So he would really go to our childhood and say, if you don't walk out of your comfort zone, you'll still be drinking milk. So I feel that, our youth needs to learn. And, when you walk out of your comfort zone, you go into a little bit of a stretch zone, then maybe a danger zone. So I'm not saying go into the danger zone, but stretch it. If you're going to office using one route, use another route. If you learn a language, and the benefit of learning a language is not about language. It's about going to college or a school or taking a lesson, meeting new people, talking about new things. That just opens your envelope. And suddenly, I know so many people because I am just involved in so many things. I work in Jinnah Hospital, the largest public sector hospital in Pakistan. I had no idea I could do. When I came to Pakistan from Procter Gamble in '96, I had done about maybe 17 odd years at P&G. And it was in Geneva, in Saudi Arabia. When I came into Pakistan, I got this offer from Aga Khan Hospital. I don't know who called me and says, we want you to volunteer in our annual giving committee. I said, I've never done any annual giving. I don't even know how to talk to people to collect funds. And I said, sure. So I went there, and Engro's CEO, Jaffer Khan, I don't know, you heard his name. He used to be the head of that committee, and they were amazing people. And I walked out of my comfort zone, and that opened the Pandora box. Then I created a fundraising committee for Hope, which is an NGO. So I think just building on volunteerism, volunteerism is a word which kind of scare people. But if you look at it more towards walking out of your comfort zone, something you're very comfortable with, wonderful, you're comfortable with. That is your forte. That's probably your core competence. But if you do not expand your envelope, you don't go into your, and I think that's where can do also comes in, because you cannot do something if you don't walk out of your comfort zone. So these are all connected. These are all management skills that really play a very critical role in your growth as a person and in being successful in the long run.
I can see the passion coming from you, it comes through your eyes, it comes through what you're saying. And that's what we want to instill in young people. We want them to have that passion, not just to be good at passing exams, because employers really look at your CV, and if it says this person is a graduate from the best university in the world, they push that to one side and they'll ask the question, so what else have you done?
Yeah.
And I think this is where, although everyone's saying the same thing, they're talking about interview techniques, the type of questions that are going to be spoken about at the interview. And actually, I think that's the comfort zone, because they've got into this comfort arena of, I can answer all these questions. But let me tell you now, if someone comes and been interviewed by me, I don't keep to the question book. I will ask a question that perhaps is completely left field, and they may not know where.
Well, can I just add to what you just said? I talk about P&G as well. Recruiting, I've recruited a lot of people. I mean, I recruited the entire finance department, and then I was CEO that I recruited a lot of other people. I mean, I spend nearly 20% of my time looking at his qualifications. I mean, you'll be saying, oh no, his grades didn't even make a difference to me unless he failed or did not complete. Yeah. What really mattered to me were his behaviors on leadership, his behavior on risk-taking, his behavior on analytical thinking, his behavior on, my question would be something like this. If you give me an example, if you're stuck in a complex issue where there were too many variables, how were you able to figure out that this is really the crux of the issue? I mean, those kind of questions is really what makes a difference in the real run. I mean, I've had gold medalists from IBA who did not survive 6 months in P&G because the guy was just too smart and he just would not take any feedback. And some of my smartest people were mediocres, and they are now, running. I mean, I would not take his name because I call him mediocre right now, but he's actually heading, a subsidiary in Africa right now. And I was like, and there's a regional vice president of a big multinational who we thought was an okay student, but the guy was amazing. So if you don't have good grades, don't feel like, oh my God, my life is literally, backed off. I'm not going to make it. You need to learn. You need to be street smart. You need to be able to make decisions. You need to be able to analyze data. And like Neville said, it is not about, grades and getting, being outstanding in academia. The real life is very different. It is probably opens with the door. A good, let's say, degree or from a good college will just open the door for you. If you survive inside the door, is a total different matter.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we have to remember, and we need to give this advice to young people, is we're not giving you bad advice here. We're giving you years and years of our experience of, we know what the interview system's about. We know what organizations want. I mean, Saad, you've had a tremendous career in Procter Gamble. I think everybody knows that as a household name. They've only got to Google it to find out what it is. You were very senior in that organization, but you didn't start in that senior role. You built yourself up. You've volunteered, if you like. You pushed yourself out of your comfort zone. You got more experience. You became more valuable to the organization. And ultimately, you were headhunted into Gillette in many respects. So, you've gone from food, if you like, with Procter Gamble into shaving cream and shavers, fundamentally what Gillette are all about. And now today, you're in Golden Nuggets running your own chain of restaurants. So my point here is to everyone listening is your career is not defined for you. You define your career.
That's right.
And the more you take advantage of the knowledge, the information that's already with you. I mean, not least, we summarize it in here. By the way, as Saad knows, this is the first book. It's one of a series of about 5. This is about attitude, a can-do attitude, and soft skills. We're going to be hitting on 4 other topics which are very hot for young people to get their head around, not least of which is entrepreneurship, branding, relationships, and finance, because we all need to know how to put a budget together. So this is just the first book. You mentioned things that the World Economic Forum are now catching up and saying, this is the skill set of the 21st century. Well, you and I know that actually it was the skill set of the 20th century, certainly the back end of the 20th century.
Exactly.
A lot of young people that are listening to us on here weren't even born. So they've got an added advantage if they just listen to what we're saying, read the book, particularly focus straight on your chapter, because that gives a huge insight as to how you can make a name for yourself. So, Saad, thanks very much for being here today. Any final little comment, snippet you'd like to leave people with?
I mean, read books. You know what I've seen people is now they just Google. I mean, people are not reading books. This is an amazing book that you've written, but there are other books out there as well. Yeah, I think one of my biggest asset that my father instilled in me was the interest to read books. It is like fiction, non-fiction, business, whatever it is. Just read books, in your spare time and invest in yourself and learn more. And finally, walk out of your comfort zone. I'm sure you'll find something interesting out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Saad. And it's always good to leave on a smile, and you've got a smile and I've got a smile. Thanks very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I look forward to seeing you when I'm next in Pakistan.
Done. Looking forward.
Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.